What is going on, Cattlemen and Cattlewomen? It's your boy, the Catterman here. Welcome back to the KastKing USA catfishing section of the channel. Today we're going to talk about how to target channel catfish in a river in the fall time. Now, we had a really cold night last night. It's beautifully foggy out here in the river. And right now the water temperature is sitting at about 42 degrees. Last night was pretty cold, so it was about, I think, it went down to 33 degrees, so almost freezing. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna take my favorite fall time bait, which is Gizzard Shad right here. Yeah, Gizzard Shad. And I'm gonna take a couple chunks off of this. Not big, pretty small pieces because it's colder out, so they're not gonna eat the giant pieces anymore. And then, we're gonna catch us some channel catfish. All right, here we've got the Gizzard Shad. So like I said, we're gonna do pretty small slivers, nothing too big, but we wanna get some of that gut pocket in there too, because that's gonna hold all the organs, you know, all the blood. Now this is super fresh. I just caught the shad last night. I'm also gonna take scissors right here and chop this fin off along the top, because that dorsal fin can get in the way of a good hook set sometimes. So I tried to literally chop all the fins off, including those right here on the head piece too. Doesn't that make you hungry? Yum, yum, yum. I gotta tell you something, Gizzard Shad are great around this time of the year because if they are native in that water body that you're fishing, they're gonna be very slow and lethargic and pretty easy bait for these catfish around these colder times of the year. So there we go, we've got 3 pieces. So we're gonna put a bigger piece out the head just to try it out, you know what I mean? Just to see if maybe they want the bigger head pieces. And then we're gonna put some slivers on. Let's go do that. Voila, here we go, guys. Make sure there's no scale on the tip of the hook. Doesn't that look just so appetizing? Oh man. All right, so for bait feeders, this is what I'm using right here, guys. Bait feeding spinning reels, and we're just using a straight up bottom rig, not the snag resistant bottom rig because that's too time consuming, but we're using a sinker slide going down to a 7-aught Mad Catter circle hook. Now we've got a 40-pound, I think 50-pound actually, shock leader up here on the line before we go back to the braid up here with a Albright knot right there connecting the braid in the mono. And that's because there's a lot of rocks, as you can see right here. So let's see, where are we fishing? Well, we've got deep water out over here. We've got a channel, we've got the buoy right there. There's some Gizzard Shad actually popping along the surface. You see those circles bloop, coming up, and it goes straight down over here. So we've got a sharp ledge, a lot of structure down here where these fish are going to be holding, and then we're going to throw a piece of bait out over there, out over here in front of the structure, and out into the channel. So the first thing we're going to do right now is try to locate these fish. I'm pretty confident that we're going to find one down here. We're probably also going to find one right along the ledge over there, and we are going to find them in the channel. I'm thinking because it's daylight, and in the fall time it's better to fish during the day hours, especially when it starts to heat up, than at night. We should do pretty well. All right, so here's what the finished product looks like. Here we go, sinker down the bait. Yep. And so let's go cast these baits out. Let's get a fish. First off, we got to do the lucky catfish call to start every session. So all right, so the gist is to be on the bottom because these fish are going to be down in the mud. So muddy bottoms always preferred over rocky. and that's because it traps the heat. And so now we've got our bait out, one at the channel, one right here near structure, and one over here out right on the ledge. So we're gonna see, are they in the ledges? Because I'm pretty confident they're not in the shallows. And this bay over here gets pretty shallow. So if they were there, we'd find them in there. You know, or are they in the deeper part? Maybe the channel, are they hanging out there? I don't know. We gotta wait for one of these clickers to start screaming. Okay, so we've got an incoming tide now. The tide has changed. So what I've done is, since the water flow goes right this way, I've put these baits, one in the channel and then two right here on this ledge. We're gonna see if maybe underneath all that structure back there, there's some channel catfish that this is gonna draw out. So we haven't even had a nibble here yet, which sometimes can happen because, well, we haven't been able to figure these fish out yet. Maybe they're a little bit deeper, maybe they're not. But nonetheless, the bait's been out for a long time. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna downgrade the size of my baits. So I'm even gonna cut the bottom part of the body off, and I'm just gonna have cubes of gizzard shad. So we're exposing more meat, and we're just gonna have these nice old chunks over here. Some people like to, in general, rig their shad baits like that because they think that the tail or the belly meat moves around too much in the current and cause the hook to actually get just like lodged in the wrong place. Okay, since it seems like the baits are getting stuck on leaves and they're getting down to the gunk, what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna turn this bottom rig over here into Santee Cooper rigs. All right, so here we go. We've got the chunks now, and we've got the new Santee Cooper rigs here, right, with a bobber on the line, close to the hook, about 2 to 3 inches up. So let's see if this is going to be a game changer, because the high tide's really flowing in here right now. All right, well, the new baits have been cast out. Now we see, we wait, and we attempt to catch a fall-time river catfish. Here we go, guys. We have a bite. We're gonna crank that. Yeah, we've got him on. He's on. Oh yeah. What for a beautiful fall-time channel catfish. Well, guys, I was reeling all the baits in, and out of nowhere, the one rod just shoots down. Damn, he's definitely nicer than the other channel cats. That's the one thing. He was actually in the channel, so now we're knowing that these, we're finding out these guys are definitely deeper today. Trying to stay warm. Also remember that if you have these fish out too long trying to take a hook out of them, you should always wet them a little bit to protect their slime coat. Also, always wet your hands before you touch them. You don't want to remove that slime coat. Wow! That is a beautiful channel catfish out of the Delaware River. And he really wants to go back home. Here we go. We're going to let this guy go. Yeah, bud, there you go. Yeah, I know. Personally, if I could find a spot on this river which I could access from shoreline that would be very deep, like 30-40 feet, I would probably prefer to go there, but I'm having a hard time locating that as of now. So that's why I'm going here, where it's about 25-28 feet. It's pretty close. The only problem is, you know, when high tide rolls in, I can't actually cast into those spots. I would recommend to you find the deepest part on the river, right near a shallow bank, and go there during the daytime. Throw some nice chunks of bait down there, either white perch, gizzard shad, you know, whatever forage species is in that water body that you're fishing, and you're definitely going to get on some channel catfish. Well, guys, that's about it. I'm going to go pack up over here in a moment, and we're going to head out. 2 channel catfish today. Pretty cold conditions, pretty cold water. Definitely hard to work with. Tide came in too, so we couldn't stay in the perfect spot to really keep our baits in the deeper portion of the river. But I hope you guys learned something about catching fall-time channel catfish, and Be reminded that just because it gets this cold out doesn't mean you have to stop fishing. You can still come out here like me, be crazy, get really cold, maybe get a little bit of sickness out of it too, but you're gonna have a good time if you hook into at least one fish. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned something from this video and you enjoyed it. It's great to be out in the outdoors, in general, fishing for catfish, which is one of my favorite species of fish. And if you want to learn more about catching catfish with me, the Catterman, click down on the channel, click subscribe, click that bell too so you get a notification every time we put something up. And stay tuned for more Catterman action. Catterman out!